I used to think that sacrifice was the purest form of love. It turns out it was just the currency my husband used to fund his betrayal. For years, I made myself smaller so he could live bigger. I skipped lunches, I wore the same worn-out shoes to work, and I said no to weekends with my friends because, as he always said, we should save. Every single extra shift I picked up went straight into our joint account. You know, the one he insisted we keep for our future. I truly believed we were building something beautiful together. I was so wrong. It started with small things, little red flags I chose to ignore. A new watch he couldn't quite explain. Hotel charges on the credit card that he'd just brush off as business trips. Suddenly, he was obsessed with the gym and wearing cologne he never, ever wore for me. When I would ask questions, he'd laugh. He called me paranoid, insecure, even dramatic. So, I swallowed my doubts, just like I swallowed everything else. The truth finally came crashing down on a random Tuesday. I was paying bills online when I noticed a charge that made no sense. A fancy restaurant on a weekday afternoon. I started digging. I followed the trail. Expensive gifts, weekend getaways, designer bags, none of which I had ever seen or received. I confronted him that night. He didn't even try to deny it. "She understands me," he said, as if that was supposed to be some kind of explanation. "She makes me feel alive." I just stared at him, and in that moment, I realized something far worse than the affair itself. He wasn't just cheating on me. He was doing it with the life I had given up for him, with the money I earned, with the dreams I had postponed, all those sacrifices I made. Thinking we were a team were just fuel for his secret life. I cried that night, but quietly, not because I was weak, but because I was finally completely awake. The next morning, I did something different. I stopped sacrificing. I separated our finances. I documented everything, every single transfer, every receipt, every lie. I spoke to a lawyer before he even had a clue what was happening. I let him keep believing I was just broken, forgiving, and clueless, and letting him underestimate me. That was the smartest move I ever made. When the divorce papers finally arrived, reality hit him harder than any argument we ever had. The future he was funding with my sacrifices. It became my compensation. The savings he thought were his. I proved they were mine. The lavish lifestyle he was flaunting with her. Gone. His affair cost him absolutely everything. Now, I buy myself the things I once denied myself. I travel. I breathe easier. I look in the mirror and I see a woman who knows her worth not. Someone who has to shrink to keep a man comfortable. My husband's affair was paid for with my sacrifice, but his downfall, that was paid for by my awakening. And that price was worth every single tear. After the divorce, people expected me to just disappear quietly, to lick my wounds and start over small. Instead, I rebuilt my life, loudly. I took the promotion I'd once turned down so he wouldn't feel insecure. I moved into a brighter apartment, one with windows that didn't feel like the bars of a cage. I started laughing more, sleeping better, eating without counting every penny. Then, months later, he came back, not with confidence, but with regret. His affair hadn't survived the harsh light of reality. The woman who loved those luxury weekends vanished the second the money did. The charm that once made him feel so powerful now just felt hollow. He told me he'd made a terrible mistake, that he missed my loyalty, my strength, my patience. The irony was so thick, I almost smiled. He missed the woman who sacrificed everything for him, a woman who no longer existed. I listened calmly. I let him talk, let him bleed all his guilt into the silence between us. When he finally asked if there was a chance for us, I gave him the only honest answer I had. I already gave you all my sacrifices, I said. I'm keeping the rest of my life for myself. Walking away in that moment felt lighter and more powerful than any revenge ever could. Because the greatest punishment wasn't what I took from him in the divorce. It was what he lost the moment he underestimated me. Now, when people ask me how I survived a betrayal like that, I tell them this. Some affairs are paid for with money. But the worst ones, the truly damaging ones, are paid for with someone else's soul. I got mine back, and I will never, ever spend it on someone who couldn't afford my worth. Thank you for listening to my story. If you've ever felt undervalued, please know your strength is waiting right there inside of you. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories of empowerment.